Alison at Hexadoodle again today, and I'm making more fabric daffodils. In the last stream we made the large daffodils with the inner ring of orange. Right now I am going to be making smaller daffodils to go on my little spring daffodils wall hanging. So I've just moved these fellas out of the way, and for the small daffodils I need six circles. This time these are 2 inches across, 2 inches across the diameter there. And they're quite straightforward, a lot of fun to do. So I'm just threading my needle. I'm going to put a knot in the end of that needle, or at the end of the thread I should say. And I'm going to carry on, like I say, making some small daffodils to go on my spring daffodils wall hanging. So just fold the circle in half. I'm going to fold it in half again so we get a quarter circle, and I'm going to run a line of gathering stitches just along this folded edge here, this rounded edge. Trying a different needle today, and already I'm struggling with it. I can feel it's quite a few layers of fabric here to stitch through, so sometimes I struggle to pull that needle through, so I'm just going to pop on a finger cut just to help me to pull that through. There we go. The only problem is I find that it gets in the way when I'm actually stitching, so I have to sort of take it on and off all the time. So just running a line of stitches along this rounded edge of the quarter circle. They're about 1/8 of an inch long, about 1/8 of an inch apart. They had a really cool three-dimensional effect to anything that you're making, and I just find them kind of fun to do. Switch my brain off a bit. There we go. So if you can see there that there's a line of gathering stitches there along that rounded edge, and if I just pull this tight now, that's going to gather that fabric up and form my first petal. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to pull it nice and tight, and then I'm going to take a couple of stitches just on that last fold to hold that petal in shape in place. So just turn it over to the back, and stitch through that last fold, or gather. See if we've got a loop there. I'm going to pass the needle through the loop and just pull it tight, and that's going to stop that from unravelling. And then we have our first petal. So I'm just going to continue. These daffodils have got 6 petals, but I've made lots of different styled flowers. Hi Mel, good evening, how are you? How's the temperature today in the Northern Territories? Are you sweating? I'm thinking of spring here in the drizzly grey UK, so I'm making myself some fabric daffodils. Try and cheer myself up. I can just see the daffodils and the snowdrops are peeking through now in the grass. They can't come quickly enough now. So just quite a few layers of thread fabric to stitch through here. Oh lovely, a bit of rain. But you've been desperate for that, have you? There we go, line of gathering stitches there along that edge, and I'm going to pull it nice and tight now to make the next petal shape. And the same thing as before, I'm just going to take a little anchoring stitch in that last fold just to stop it from unravelling. If I pull that tight, there's a loop of thread up here. I'm just going to run the thread through there. We've got 2 petals on our little daffodil now. Let's grab the next circle. I'm just going to fold it in half, finger press, and fold it back. Does your rainy season last very long? I think ours is about 320 days of the year. True British fashion of whinging about the rain. We whinge about the sun. So it's stopped raining here now, which is nice, but there's no sunshine yet. We'll see. A bit overcast today. Playing havoc with lighting for trying to see what I'm doing. There we go, petal number 3. Just gather that up now. I'm just trying to grab that last fold so I can pop a stitch through. Stop it from unravelling when I do the next one. Get that loop, pass the threads back through the loop. Three months of rain. Gosh. Yeah, I think we get about 11 months, which is nice. So I think I'd rather be cold than hot. I can always warm up if I'm chilly. But, when I went over to Australia for 3 months, I had awful prickly heat all over my hands. I looked like some kind of weird monster. Just spent the whole time stuffing myself with antihistamines and rubbing steroid cream on my hands, but I did get quite used to the heat after a while, and I do miss it now. We had a bit of snow here at the weekend. We weren't expecting that, but it didn't settle. Oh gosh, I flew over at the end of October and stayed until just before New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a flight out after New Year, so we left just before, on the 30th of December, I think. So that was definitely your sort of summertime. And it was hot, but glorious. It's lovely just being able to wear a vest all the time. Not needing layers and layers. There we go, we've got 4 now, starting to look more like a daffodil. Morning, Douglas. I'm just making some fabric daffodils today. I need some spring cheer in the house. So it's another drizzly, damp day in the UK and I'm kind of bored, so I saw the daffodils and the snowdrops just peeking through the grass this morning on the way to school with the kids and thought, I need to make some more fabric daffodils. And I started making this in the last stream. I made some nice big ones. I'll show you those. I made some nice big daffodils there. I'm just making some little mini ones to go with it now. Dead easy. I don't need a sewing machine or anything. I tend to do a lot of work by hand these days. I still do patchwork and still make samples for the shop where I work part-time, but when I'm at home I tend to be mostly working with my hands. Means I can sit with the kids whilst they're playing on the Xbox or watching TV. There we go, I'm just gathering that up now. I'm just going to take a little stitch just to stop the gathers from unravelling. Wrap that around the thread so we pull a loop. Tighten it up, there we go. Let's get the last one on. Yeah, I didn't enjoy the prickly heat. I just wanted to scratch my hands off. I couldn't wear gloves because it was so darn hot. So we're just finger pressing that circle into quarters and then running a line of gathering stitches around that rounded edge. struggling to talk today. I've still got this really annoying cough. If I talk for too long, my throat seems to dry out, but it's not a very productive cough. It's starting to get cheesed off with it. There we go. That's the last one, so we're going to gather that up now. What are you up to this evening, Mel? You doing any more paper piecing? How about you, Doug? Are you at work? I don't know whereabouts you are. Are you based in the UK or? So there we go. That's all our petals together. So I'm just going to join these together now into a ring. Do that. I'm just going to push them together and just take a few whip stitches to hold those two sets of petals together. Oh, and it always loops around another petal. There we go. And we can kind of play with the petals now. We can kind of pop them out so the leaves come up, or we can put them the other way, make them more like a proud daffodil. Let's have a look. So just pop that out that way. So that way they fold back and it sits proud. Oh, yeah, getting boys ready for school, that's always fun. I have two boys, 8 and 10, and I have to say everything at least 5 times. Okay, so now I've done that ring of daffodils, I'm just going to do a central yo-yo, or a Suffolk puff they call them here. So this is what a Suffolk puff looks like. It's this gathered circle of fabric here in the centre, and I'm cheating, I'm using a clover yo-yo maker for this because it makes it so much easier to hold the fabric when you're turning it. So I've just got some scraps of fabric here, and what we do is there's like 2 parts to the yo-yo maker. So I'm going to put the dish underneath the fabric, and then I pop this inner section in, and what I'm doing is there's some lines, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there are lines, 3 markings here, and there are 3 sort of nubs on the outer edge, so I need to line those up. So I'm just going to pop that in there, line them up, click it into place, and I'm just going to trim this excess fabric off and then start stitching. So I trim quite close to the, almost run the blade of the scissors around this edge of this plastic template, and I'm not being neat about it, I'm not worrying. These are all scraps, and all this this edge here all gets turned in and is held inside the petal when we're done. So that's that bit done. I'm just going to leave that attached over there. Find some orange thread. It's not exactly the same colour, it's kind of peachy orange, but this is a hand quilting thread because it's really strong, but you can use normal sewing thread, just use a double length. Oh wow, 16. Mine are rapidly getting there, I'm finding it quite scary. They're more like men, I imagine, at that age than children, aren't they? I'd have to say mine were so lovely this morning. They got up and made their own lunches and made quite a mess in the kitchen, but that's fine. And the eldest, who's 10, even put a load of laundry on for me because I'd left a laundry basket out. I was so proud. God knows what I'm going to find in the washing machine later, but he's chucked a load in. So I'm feeling very, very proud of them. They're getting very independent, very responsible now. There we go. So just fold this sort of fabric edge down now, and I'm going to, on the outside you can see there's like little openings. So what I'm doing is, it's to help you get the same length stitch all the way around. So I push needle through. Oh, I definitely think boys are easier than girls. I see my friends with their tween ages, kind of 10 going on 17. I just think, oh thank God. My son doesn't even realise he has to brush his hair in the morning yet. He's just not, they're not bothered about appearances or what they're wearing. They just want to play Minecraft and read Harry Potter. Oh, are we looking forward to the empty nest, or have you got plans for that, Douglas, or is it just something you'd rather not see yet? God, it's a frightening thought. I feel like I've had the kids for so long, I couldn't imagine life without them. But I'm kind of looking forward to it as well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Douglas. I have to say, 2 is enough for me. I never fancied the idea of being outnumbered. Yeah, I struggle at the moment actually. When my boys are away from home, if they go and stay with their grandparents for the night, I find it very eerie. Kind of walk past an empty bedroom, there's no one to check on and there's no noise. You don't hear them moving around. It's quite scary. You forget what life's like before you had them. So my husband and I were together for 10 years before we had the children, and I can't even remember what that was like now. So there we go. I've gone all the way around this template now. I'm back to where I started. You see the knot where I started. So I'm just going to take an extra stitch through that section there. And then I'm going to pop this out. Yeah, 5 children. I'm not sure my sanity could have handled that, never mind my body. But, so I'm just peeling off this fabric now away from that inner template. Oh, it's going to be so exciting though, isn't it, to watch them go and make their own way in the world. I can't wait. I keep telling mine I want a parking space on the moon. Go do stuff, see the world. So I'm just gathering this up now, and it looks like a weird kind of pouch, like a little sponge bag or something, but I'm going to use my needle just to tease the fabric out into something that looks like a circular shape. Kind of use the tips of your fingers. There we go, kind of smoosh it around a bit. So I'm just looking for something that kind of looks like the trumpet of daffodil, but not necessarily exactly. And if I bring this over, you see I can pop this over the top, and that's going to hide all those stitches underneath, and hopefully kind of look like a daffodil. Been experimenting with different sizes of the yo-yos, and this is the closest that I've come. So let's just, where are we at here? I'm going to tie this thread off here, get rid of this yellow one. So I'm just going to take it through to the back because I won't see any of these stitches on the back. And I've used these to make brooches and a little vase of flowers by hot gluing them to bamboo sticks. It's quite fun. So there we go, that's that all gathered up. I'm just going to pop the needle straight through the centre now and take the thread through to the back, just so I can knot it off and stop it from unravelling. It's funny, I sit and sew all day whilst the kids are at school because I'm a stay-at-home mum. It's been really boring, and it's quite isolating sometimes. You find just sitting in a little room. I haven't found, although I work in a quilt shop in my village, I haven't found many other quilters to meet up with, so I thought I'd have a go at streaming, twitching whilst I'm stitching, see if I can connect with other people all over the world, and that's what's happening here. We're in the UK, we're in Australia, Mel is in Australia, and we've got Doug in the Midwest. That's awesome. So I'm just going to run my thread now back through the centre here and come out at roughly the edge. You can see that on camera. There we go, roughly the edge. I made myself a jig the other day to try and film this close-up work. It seems to be working, I've just got to remember where I am. And then we're going to pop that on, and I'm just going to take a couple of stitches around the outside, going through the yellow petals and catching the orange. Just almost like an applique stitch, just to hold this Suffolk pop in place. And I'm taking quite small stitches because I don't really want to see them. But I'm not too worried if we do. I don't get hung up on perfection so much. Definitely an ish quilter. It's good enough ish. Right, my fingers are getting stuck there. Oh, go for it, Mel. Definitely have a go at streaming. I'm going to be doing some EPP soon myself, because I've got loads of designs on the computer for different projects, and I think because it's portable and I don't have to get the machine out and things, it's much easier to stream. I kind of I'm struggling with sound as it is because I don't have a dedicated mic, so the thought of having a sewing machine running and trying to talk over that whilst I'm doing it, I think that's a recipe for disaster. See, I really think there's definitely, Doug, I definitely think there's like a market for this for creative people. I'm not organised enough to do YouTube tutorials with perfect lighting and makeup and all that jazz, but I think just being able to sit and watch people do what they do, the way that they do it, is it's fascinating. I've been watching all sorts. Crochet, which I do like to do myself, so that's been really interesting to watch other people crochet and see how they do it. And so you can see there, I'm just gradually sewing this down. Yeah, you need to get cameras. I got two, although they're both the same make and model, and that's causing some trouble with my computer, so I don't know if that's just the way my PC is set up. I'm not that technologically savvy, but I am having conflicts every now and again. I struggle to control, you know, the camera I'm looking at or the camera that's looking at the work. So I think I'm definitely going to invest in a different model camera so I can have them separate. The cameras these days are pretty, I don't want to say they're cheap, but you can certainly start with just one camera. And it's kind of with everything I do in the crafting, I kind of get, excuse me, I get what I can afford, you know, the cheapest I can afford, and I figure I'll replace it if this becomes something I do regularly. I can replace it with a better one as and when. Mel, I hadn't got a clue how to start either. It's my husband that suggested this because he's a video gamer. He writes video games for Xbox, so he was like, oh, you should Twitch. Do you know what, just sign up, get an account, hit the stream button. I found fantastic tutorials on YouTube actually by Talk Custom. He was showing you how to do the overlays, so this the kind of purple frame that's around my stream. I just followed him blindly and made up this little overlay. But we're all out here. I can help you with what I've known so far. I've found loads of people have helped me. So I now I've got this little pussy cat down on the bottom there, which is just cute. It does feel sometimes watching other people stream like I'm a million miles away. But yeah, I use OBS, I think. That was a free download. Bit of kit for the streaming part. Oh, I managed to get a knot there in my thread. Look, see, chatting and not paying attention. But you find people are really helpful. I had a problem the other day, sort of in stream, and there was somebody watching that just sort of jumped in and just told me what I had to do, and it was like, thanks. So people aren't expecting perfection. If they are, they're not getting it here. But I just want a connection to see what people are doing, how they're doing it. So I'm just gradually working my way around, just looking more and more like a daffodil. I love these, they just make me smile. A few scraps of fabric and Alison's happy. quite tough sometimes. I'm going through quite a few layers of fabric, so definitely need to give it a good push. So I've got this kind of thimble on. It's one of the ones you get from the stationery shop. They use it for counting money and papers, but I find it's really handy for gripping needles. I think I'm almost all the way around now. Yep, just 2 more stitches and this will be done. A bit of the raw edge just snuck out there. Let's just hide that in place. Okay, last one. Okay, so I can stick the needle now. I'm going to go all the way through to the back of the daffodil. Just knot that off so we don't see the end of the thread. It's kind of weird because at the minute I'm sort of streaming in a semi-tutorial style. Like, I want to share what I do and how I do it. There's no fear there. But I'm not organised enough to do YouTube. So I figure I'll just, when I'm doing something, if it's new and people are interested, I'll just explain how it's done. No problem. So I'm just going to snip that off now. That's all contained. Like I said, this is the back, so we don't see that. That's the front. And I could, if I wanted to now, I could get something like a brooch bar. You can get these from the hobby shops. And I could attach that on the back. Or even use a piece of felt or something, attach it to the back of the felt and then make a little brooch. I was kind of joking, maybe I could just put it in my hair. I don't do hair, I don't do makeup. So I probably would never wear it in my hair, but if you know a little girl or anything, you can probably make some really cool hair slides there. So that's one down. I think I'm going to do 2 more. In the last stream I made up the big ones. I'm just reaching out a camera to kind of find the... So this is the sort of background that I'm going to put them on. Like the one down below, that's one I made it a couple of years ago now. So I don't know how many I actually want on here yet. So I'm going to make 6 in total and then mess around with them until I find something I like. Right, so one down. Let's get on with the next one. I wish I could, Mel. I really wish I could care enough to do hair and makeup, but I don't. And my husband always jokes, he knows what I look like first thing in the morning, so why waste my money? Which kind of makes sense. I can buy more fabric this way. So where's that yellow thread? There it is. Let's just get a knot. I've never seen a quilter's knot. This is one that people talk about sometimes. But, so you take the end of your thread, that's your needle end is here, take the tail, pinch it between the needle and your thumb and forefinger, and then you just wrap your thread around a couple of times, and you pinch those wraps in your finger and pull it through. Hair and makeup are totally overrated. There we go. Like I said, I think this is why I prefer the thought of streaming, because this is real. This is me. If you meet me in real life, this is what I look like. I sometimes work at quilt shows with the shop where I work part-time, and it always makes me laugh there because you see these quilt celebrities, but you get to see them real, first thing in the morning, bleary-eyed. And I tell you what, they're nothing like their Instagram pictures, and they're nowhere near as bouncy and bubbly as they'd have you believe. I figure this way, there's no illusion. This is me. The hardest thing is trying not to swear. But when I set this up first, I set the stream up to be for mature audiences. But I had people kind of not complaining, but some of the ads that Twitch were showing were really not their cup of tea. There was is it Insidious, the movie that was coming out, and that scared the bejesus out of me. That advert. And some of the ladies that that lurk on the stream are kind of much older, and they did not enjoy it, so they didn't want to watch the stream because they didn't want these adverts popping up. So I've set it to kind of for younger audiences, and now I've just got to watch my language. Okay, so that's the first one stitched and gathered. So I'm just using scraps of fabric here, it doesn't take much. So you need no special tools, special equipment, you just need something to draw around that's a circular shape, and you can do them any size. I think the biggest I've done is like a 5-inch, drew around a CD, because nobody uses them anymore. I've got loads of them lying around. Yeah, just draw around a CD and get going. I'm determined to stitch into my thumbnail this morning. Can't seem to cut much more of it off. So we're going through 4 layers of fabric here, and these are batik fabrics. So they're much more densely woven than you'd see with normal kind of cotton fabric or even dressmaking fabric. So I'm having to really push this needle through. I normally use a much finer needle for working with batik, but I can't get the quilting thread through the eye, so I've got to make a sacrifice somewhere. It looks like it's going to be my thumb. So I'm just going to take a single stitch through that last fold again, just to stop it from unravelling. There we go. So I'm hoping the music isn't too loud on stream, but the voices in my head get so noisy that I need to listen to music whilst I do this. I can't sit in silence. I got told off the other day for playing copyright music. I think it was YouTube. I tried to export the stream to YouTube for later, and wasn't happy because of the copyright music, so I'm hoping this music is okay. I got it from Twitch, so I'm assuming they approve of this. So that's another petal done. We're just going to scoosh it down again. So I'm just looping the thread through so we get a little knot. Oh, it's so pretty! If I could sing, I'd sing something about spring, but I can't. Perhaps I should recite some Wordsworth or something. Wandering lonely as a cloud over fields, and there's daffodils in there somewhere, I'm sure. Make sure I'm in the right place on this jig. It's been so funny setting up to stream. I think I've rearranged my sewing room about 5 times now, trying to get the best locations for cameras and things. But it's tidy. Tidier than it's ever been. So I think I'm following you, Doug. If I'm not, I'm going to go and do that straight after the stream. So if you're just starting out, I don't know what craft you do, but I will happily lurk, get your numbers up for you. So I've been doing, I think I started just before Christmas with this, and I did hand quilting to begin with, and then we had the Christmas break and I had the children off school for 3 weeks. Oh my goodness, that was fun. So streaming wasn't really an option. Well, I don't know why, to be fair, that they'll just come in and out and see what's going on. But yeah, those first few were hard. I had a lot of technical issues, shall we say. But I think we're just about, I think I've just about got to the point where I can sit down and hit the start streaming button, so that's good. I'm getting distracted by my screen at the minute. OBS has done an update this morning for me, and I've got all sorts of weird sound bars kind of whizzing past. So it's winter for you as well, is it, Doug, at the minute? We never really get winter these days. I think it tends to come much later. I remember as a kid having the snow before Christmas, but we had a little bit just before Christmas here. It brings the country to a halt every time. Honestly, us Brits, we are just, well, we whinge. It's what we do. We're good at whining. We whine if it's hot, we whine if it's cold, we whine if it's wet. So we had a couple of days of snow. I think they dubbed it Snowmageddon, but it was like 3 inches. It was nothing. And even though we know it's coming, we're never ready for it. So I'm quite happy with the drizzle that we've got today. That's fine. Snow never bothers me really, because I just don't drive in it. That first day of snow, just don't drive, because all the other idiots come out in their cars and suddenly realise they don't know how to drive in snow. But where I live, I can walk, I can get to the supermarket, I can get the kids to school on foot. We don't even need a car in the snow, so never really a problem. Last one on this one, there we go. Squish it up. Let's just knock that off. It wants to wrap around that other one there, not funny. There we go. Oh, you. Where have we gone? So you always get one petal looped in there. It's true though, isn't it, Doug? It's not like this isn't new. But yeah, always the same. Yeah, I imagine the first day of rain is quite scary, Mel. It's very dry. I imagine you get a lot of mud and things. I don't know. I don't like heavy rain here. Obviously, there's always the issue with it aquaplaning. But I don't know. You just drive to the conditions, don't you? If you can't see, you slow down. If you've got no traction, you need to sort that out. There we go. Get in a high gear and just roll. Awesome. Love that. Love that. There we go. We've got a touch of spring coming through now, Doug. What colour shall we put in the centre this time? I've got some really quite wacky batiks here. I don't know how they'll look. Oh, I've got... It's a bit orangey, maybe a bit red as well. Let's go for the dots. Oh, oil. Yeah, that's fun. Not. It's funny, you can see it here. If it's been dry for a couple of days, you see that residue on the roads. It just gets a bit greasy, doesn't it? And, just take your time. I'm never in a rush. Off I do with my scissors. Come on, Ali. Oh, over there. Brilliant. There we go. A lorry. You can say truck or semi, is it? Is that what they say? Red lorry, yellow lorry. Don't worry, Doug, I know what you mean. Okay, back with the orange thread this time. I do love the differences between our languages. I was talking about the car the other day and I was talking about the boot. But it's not the boot, is it, in America? It's the trunk. Is that right? Yeah, trunk. And we say bonnet and you say hood. Which is the same thing when you think about it. It's a covering. Oh yeah, you see, I binge US TV on Netflix or Amazon, so you can't win, can you? I do like BBC myself, obviously. Seeing as we pay for it with, we have to pay a TV licence here to be able to watch TV, and that funds some of the BBC programmes. But, I don't tend to watch regular TV. We don't have TV. Just because we've never bothered to install an aerial, but we've got the Xbox with the TV tuner in, so that does me. And I'm never far from an iPad. There's always one around. Oh god, dog, now I've got visions of Emmett from the Lego movie. Everything is awesome. Oh, my sister had a smart car. But the funny thing is, she's a big girl, shall we say, and her husband is huge. He's so tall and so wide, and watching him just fold himself up and get into this smart car was incredible. It's like a TARDIS, isn't it? Oh dear. Stitching all the way around. I like these because I can hold it. It's like a really... Oh my goodness, dog. Oh, of course, because you were shopping for a chair the other night, weren't you? I can't remember whose stream that was on. Was that Tony's stream? Yeah. So yeah, even if you had a boot, I imagine the smart car, you've got to put the chair back quite a bit. There we go, we are all the way around. Did you find yourself a chair yet, Doug? Nah, time travel. Would you go forwards or backwards, Doug? If you could travel in time, what would you do with it? Obviously, I'd like to go back. I'd like to live in like Pride and Prejudice times or something, just wander around. Hey, flying pink monkey! Can I just call you monkey, because I'm never going to remember to get all of that out in one go. Oh, gutted about the chair. I was really lucky with mine. I managed to find like a second-hand office place, and they sold some really good office chairs, but for about, I think I paid £60 for mine. And normally that they run at kind of twice that price. But we have lots of government things here where they run an inquiry for a bit, and then, I don't know, they must buy new furniture every time, because this one still had stickers on the back, so it had been used in some kind of government thing, and then they just got rid of it. And so I managed to pick mine up quite cheaply. I'm not massively tall, but messing with time can cause trouble. Yeah, I've been binge watching Star Trek Next Generation. Lots of time travel in that at the minute. Yeah, I could be like Q, couldn't I? Just popping around, messing stuff up. So I'm not sure if I like this orange or not, but we're going to run with it. Oh, you're at work. Rubbish. See, I was saying, this kind of is work. I stay at home whilst the kids are at school. So I was kind of having this discussion with my husband the other day, like, someone asked me if I was a professional quilter. And I thought, no, I just mess around in my room at home whilst everyone's out at work or at school. But yeah, I suppose you could say this is work, which is a nice kind of work. But my day is going great. I had a few issues this morning with an OBS update, and my cameras started flickering and things, but I think we fixed it. Obviously the grey day we're having is messing up my lighting, but I can see well enough, and I hope you guys can see well enough, which is good. Oh, okay, Doug, see you later. Have a good day at work. I'm just going to sing Everything is Awesome now for the rest of the day. Earwormed. Anyway, have a great day, Doug. I'll see you again. Oh, my fingers today. I keep stitching into my thumbnail, so it's all just flaking off. Probably means more B vitamins or something, I don't know. Oh, that's it, the voices in my head got loud there, like I got distracted. So I'm just stitching this little yo-yo thing down. Oh, thanks, Monkey. I'm just saying I need some spring, I need a touch of spring. I'm kind of sick of drizzle and I'm sick of grey, it's just grey outside. And I saw some daffodils and snowdrops just sort of starting to peek through the grass on the way to school the other day. And I decided to make another spring daffodil wall hanging. The picture down below is the one I made a few years ago. And I decided to update it with some new fabrics. And maybe even get around to writing the pattern up one of these days. I think that's kind of where I want to go now. Because I design quilts all the time, I very rarely follow patterns these days. And I want to get writing them up, and who knows, maybe I'll set up a store on Craftsy. It's an American site, but they do like online classes and stuff, so you can watch in your own time when you're ready. And they have a marketplace there where you can sell patterns for anything: crochet, baking, sewing, quilting. So I've put a few patterns up there to see how it goes. And yeah, it's just getting the confidence, I think, to stand up and go, hey, you want to make this. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I think that might be quite cute. If I had little girls, I'd make little hair slides and kind of wear them in your hair. But I'm not a hair and makeup kind of person, so I'll never make hair clips with them. Might make a brooch for my jacket though. Can join all the other pins and badges on the denim. It's looking kind of cool. Looking alright. So I'm mostly doing hand sewing at the moment with the streaming because I haven't got a microphone. Yeah, I'm glad I've got two boys too, Monkey. Secretly very pleased. So, fortunately this is a PG channel, but yeah, there's a running gag about only having one you-know-what to look after. Oh, hi Bubbles, bye Bubbles. Were you lurking on your lunch break? Bubbles 32 is my better half, and he's been kind of helping me out with the technology side of all this. God, this is a really tough bit of fabric to get through. Come on. I'm having to use the table to push this down and get it through. Yeah, he's been helping me. Thanks, Bubbles. It's all his fault. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him going, you should twitch and stitch. Yeah, okay, love. I didn't quite understand what was involved. I've been better off playing video games and streaming. I think that looks easier. But bless him, I've stole his PC and everything. His PC's now in my room. I did have a 12-foot USB cable running across the house, but I was streaming blind, so I couldn't read chat or see anything on the screen, so bless him, he's let me have his PC. And then just gone to work and said, I need a PC. And they said, okay. So now he's got a new one, so that's alright. A new free one, which is always good. Free we like. Just checking, I think, I've gone all the way around now, so that is stitched down, stuck in place, so we can just take that needle through to the back. Ow! Did you see you wanted someone to dye you pink this morning, is that right? So I take it you're going pink. I went purple once. That was awesome. And then it started to grow out, and then it just looked awful. And every time I went swimming with the boys, there was just this trail of hair dye in the pool, which is a bit embarrassing. Pink streaks, I like it. I like it. I've just jabbed myself in the finger. Dang it. They're looking a bit fadey. Mine's looking a little bit grey now, I have to say. I'm trying to embrace it. Gonna grow old disgracefully. But I do keep thinking, oh, I haven't cut my hair in about 2 years, so I need to probably do with a good overhaul at the hairdressers, you know. Maybe get them to put something pink in. So we've got 2 little daffodils. I think I've got enough fabric cut to make one more little one. This is a weird fabric though, it's kind of variegated in colour, so it looks odd on camera. Every time I look at it I think it's weird. Oh, hey, you don't have to do the school run. Nice. Oh, I got out of it yesterday. Hobby had the day off work for training, and so I let him go. I've got a couple of hours yet, don't need to stress. So let's find, I ran out of thread. That's because we've used it all. Great, now you get to see me try and thread a needle on camera. I'm getting to that age where I need to think about eye tests and maybe admit that I can't see anything. Oh dear. First try. That doesn't usually happen. See, I cut these circles, Monkey, with the Sizzix Big Shot, like Tony was using last night. She was using the Big Shot for hexes. I used the Big Shot for cutting out these circles. So they're all the same. But you don't need a Big Shot, you can just trace around your mug, compact disc, sounds so old. Yeah, CD, spool, anything circular. Pringles cans, they're a good size for making these. And yeah, just some scraps of fabric and away. Yeah, it's funny, I had my Big Shot for years and I only ever used it for applique. So I'd buy the paper dies and cut out like love hearts and different shapes. But yeah, epic fail on walking away from the PC. Are you dripping pink hair dye in your keyboard as we speak? Oh, so I've just, pricked myself again. Just gathering that up and then taking a stitch through that fold. And let's do the next one. I'll see you in a bit, Monkey. Still struggle to try and sew and read what's on the screen and look at the camera and oh. I think that's the hardest part about streaming, is suddenly realising you're not on your own. But they say if it doesn't scare you a little bit. So I don't know if you're still there, Mel, but definitely go for it, go for it, go for it. I think we've all got to start somewhere. And, this is where I'm at the minute. I'm enjoying it. And, so if nothing else, it's a bit of company sometimes instead of sitting here listening to audiobooks or watching murder on TV. Oh God, I'm glad you're still here, Mel. I can't quite see everything on my screen, so I don't know who's here, what's going on. Trying to read the chat. So like Mr. Magoo, sitting here peering at the screen. So yeah, for the English paper piecing I use a Sizzix Big Shot as well, Mel. I don't know if you've heard of those, but you can buy different dies with different sizes, and they cut out paper, fabric, all sorts. So I bought myself a couple of hexagon dies so I can just cut out the paper as and when I need it, and then I can do the same with the fabric. We can order paper pieces over here, but they're quite expensive, and I get enough junk mail through the door to make use of it. I'll just run it through the big shot. I've got loads of hexies ready to go then. They've started doing other sizes as well. They've started doing a Lucy Boston one, which is the patchwork of the crosses. Ouch. Do you know, I keep stabbing myself this morning. I haven't managed to bleed on anything yet, which is good. Number 3 on there. Yay. This one's looking quite nice, the variegated one. I don't know if you can see it easily on the camera, but because it's changing colour, it's looking much more natural. Ooh, cold coffee. Nice. Ah, looks like I've only got 5 of these, so we might have a 5-petaled. She's scanning the desk to see if she can find it. We might just end up with 5 petals on this one. That's where you find I've stitched 2 together already. Trying to think, I'm sure Sue Daly, well, I could be completely mistaken now. I thought Sue Daly might be Australian, but now I'm really not sure actually, because she sells papers and patterns and things for English paper piecing. I think she's considered quite an important figure in that kind of world. There's a couple of celebrities, I suppose, in English paper piecing, and she's one of them, I would say. I could have sworn she was in Australia, but now I can't check my PC to find out, but yeah. Nice thing is, it's one of those things that will wait for you. You don't have to do it, you can pick it up and put it down. I think that's what I like about them, really. I'm just doing some random flowers at the moment. Let's see if I can find them. I've been going through oh, there we go, going through my scrap bins and keeping like teeny tiny pieces. I can't throw anything away. Sue Daly. Let me see if I can type it in on the chat. Whoa. I'm sure it's patchwork with busy fingers or something. Can you see that? Yeah. So Sue Daly. I'm sure she was Australian, but I've been mistaken before. Yeah, so these are really small ones. These are only 1/2 inch hexagons, but yeah, I'm hanging on to every scrap of fabric and just keep making up little bits. I'll use them in something, maybe a pin cushion or a little brooch. I quite like making things to stick on my jacket. I really don't know what happened to that other circle. Could have sworn I'd cut 6 of everything out. Clearly not. Probably find it stuck to my bum later. I tend to stand in the playground waiting for the kids, picking all the threads off myself, and I'm probably sitting on it now. I'll be wandering off down the street. You know you're a quilter when. Oh, got myself all wrapped up there. What's going on? Yeah, there we go. I think that's the only thing you have to watch for with this, is obviously all these hooky bits behind us now with these petals. Just pull it tight and fold to the back so I can stitch through that fold one more time. And I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to try and cut another circle, or do we have... I'm not sure about the 5. Not convinced. Let's see if we can find that missing circle. Where are you? I've got so much stuff on my desk. Right, not on the floor, we know that much. Have I got any more of that fabric left? Bear with me. Oh dear, just go through my scraps, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go, there we go. I think that was the one that I used. Well, should we do a quick big shot demonstration as well whilst we're at it? If I can dig it out. Not sure if I can get it on camera. Let's see. Oh dear. Crash, bang, clang. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that to the side for a second. Try not to make too much noise, sorry. Crashing away. Let's move that drink out of the way so we don't chuck that everywhere. And then I am going to just move my little sewing station to one side, and I'll pull this front camera down and you can see what I'm talking about. Shall we see if that works? Okay. Let's try and get this on here. Handle on. Okay, let's see if we can move this camera down. There we go. So this is a Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine. And mine's quite old, but it doesn't really matter, so it still does the same thing. And this is what we call a cutting die. It's tough plastic, but hidden in the foam here are cutting blades. And what happens is, as it runs through the machine, the pressure forces those blades through the material that you've laid on the top. So I'm using fabric, but you can also use card, leather, all sorts of things. So I'm just going to lay my scrap of fabric so it covers that smallest circle. That's the one I've been using for the small circles. And then we have to sandwich it between these Perspex cutting plates. There's one, there's number 2, and then we just run it through this machine, kind of crank the handle. You can get electric ones, but I'm not that lazy, I can manage the handle. There we go, pops out the other side. And there, if you can see, is my circle. Now I've only done one layer, so what's actually happening here is that the fabric hasn't been cut completely, so it's still attached in places, called those little hangnails. So I'm just going to cut that out of there. But that is another circle, exactly the same size as all the other ones that we've been using in the project. Let's just pop that down on the floor, Blue Peter style. Da-da-da. Okay, shall we come back up here? Hello, hello, hello. Oh, the reality. Okay, so yeah, when I've cut that, it's just still attached. And I could pull it and snap the threads, but sometimes it'll pull a whole thread out across your fabric, so I don't want to do that. I'm just going to grab my scissors and just trim around. So there's one there, just get you out of the way, and you. And where else? Oh, okay, round this way. So I'm not really cutting, I'm just having to graze those threads. But there we go, perfect circle. We can carry on and put 6 petals on my daffodil now. Yeah, I really like the Big Shot for kind of using up scraps and things, because you get all different shapes and sizes of dye now, and they've really cottoned on to the quilting market, so we're seeing much more piecing dyes. So you can get them for things like half square triangles, and which are not tricky to construct, but they're a bit of a pain. Whereas this way you just run your scraps through, they're all ready to go. So here we go, we're just going to stitch around the edge of this one. So yeah, besides hexes, I quite like making the yo-yos, these centerpieces. I've made hundreds upon hundreds of these. I make all sorts of strange projects for Christmas. Covered a polystyrene cone in hundreds of green yo-yos. But again, it's just a little project you can do in the evening. You don't need to buy lots of fabric, you can use up bits from other projects, and sometimes I think the greater the variety, the better it looks, you know. So here we go, that's that last one there done. Just stitch through here. Ish. Yeah, there we go. And we'll just join that ring together now. Again, just a few stitches to hold those. So I'm kind of putting them right sides together, I suppose. Good sides together. And I'm just going to stitch through these folds a couple of times just to hold them together. There we are. Yay! Okay, now I'm going to decide on a centre for this one. What have we got so far? I quite liked how that fabric came out. I wasn't sure when I look at it as a piece of fabric, it doesn't look very nice, but once it's all gathered up, you don't really get the print. Would we go with something, or... Go on, let's go with that one. Let's go with that one, just because we haven't used it yet. There isn't really a right or a wrong side with a batik, but I can tell by looking, after having worked with them for quite some time now, I can tell that this is the back side of the fabric and this is the good side. So I'm going to put it good side down. I'm going to find my registration lines on here and match them up with those little nubs on the template. And you know when you've got it right, because it'll pop in, and if it's not right, it won't. It's quite strange. But there we go. So I'm just going to trim that down. Scissors, scissors, scissors. As I say, I'm just rough cutting this. I'm not worrying about being super neat. Get rid of that. So you see, it's not brilliant. But all of this is going to be turned over and cinched in when we do the gathering. Oh, I need to gather. I need to thread another needle. Da, da, da. At least my eyes are still reasonably fresh. It's 1:20 here now in the afternoon. She says they're fresh, but she can't thread the needle. Whereas the thread is actually quite thick, so I've got it right in the eye there and it's just bouncing off. Let's just cut that at a bit of an angle. Somebody once told me as well to wet the eye of the needle, not the thread. Check that out. There you go, you see? Maybe it does work, who knows. So I'm just going to put a knot in the end of this thread so we can pull those gathers when I've stitched around the outside. So I do like these yo-yo makers. It gives me something I can hold on to with my whole hand, and it's not floppy like trying to just stitch around a fabric circle. It's quite robust. This is something you can do with sort of smaller children as well, which is quite good. Relatively simple for them to follow. And these come in all different sizes too. I think I've got all the circular ones now. The jumbo one is massive. It's about 8 inches template to hold in your hand. It makes a nice size yo-yo. There we go, we're getting there. So I keep tilting it back because I'm just making sure that I'm holding that seam allowance down and stitching through it on this side as well, because if I don't stitch through it, it won't get contained within the gathers. Nearly there now. So this is more like a stitch regulator, but it's just easy to use. So there we are, I've gone all the way around. Pop the inside out, move that away, and then we just gently peel the fabric off that inner. And start to pull on that thread, and it will start to gather. Just make sure I keep popping it out so that the good side is facing out. So we end up with this little miniature sponge bag, drawstring bag. So I'm just going to scroosh it down now and encourage it to look more rounded. Try and get that opening in the centre. Ish. Ish, ish, ish. That was good. And I'm just going to pop the needle right down through the centre and tie off with a single knot, just to stop those threads unravelling whilst I do the next bit. And this is why you want to use a strong thread, because obviously you're gathering quite tightly there. And so many times I've pulled, got it really nice, and then it's gone snick, and then the thread's gone. So a nice strong thread, like a quilting thread, or just regular cotton, but use a double length. I'm just going to trim that off. Don't put that on that one. And I'm going to place this again roughly in the centre. Oh, it's quite cute. Looks okay. And again, we'll just take a few small stitches now, just to secure this. I think if I knew more embroidery, I could probably do some really nice embroidery stitches or something around the edges here. Oh, good night, Mel. Have a good one. And, hopefully I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, have a drink. So last daffodil now, and then we can start trying. Fortunately, I can't attach them to the quilt I've made them for because I'm hand quilting that at the moment. And hand quilting takes a little bit longer than machine quilting. Plus I'm doing a design I've never done before on the hand quilting, and it's proving to be a bit of a headache figuring out which line I'm supposed to be stitching on. But, I'll get there. I'll get there, I'll get there. Let's see if we can get this needle threaded. I should just use a bigger needle, but I find when they get bigger they're not as sharp, and I need to get through quite a few layers of tightly woven fabric here, so I need a sharp one, but preferably one I can thread too. Not happening on that side. So sometimes when you thread a needle, you get the thread literally touching the eye. You can see it's touching, but it just won't go through, and it's because of the way the needle is manufactured. It's been punched, and so what you'll find is it's been punched through. You're catching like a burr. It's tiny, you can't even see it, but just rotating the needle through 180 degrees can sometimes make it easier. Cinderella shower cap. Can you still buy shower caps? God. I can't remember the last time I wore a shower cap. Last time I dyed my hair, I just dripped purple everywhere. And it was a new house as well, so I got purple dye all in the grout. Poundland. Nice. Remember that then for next time. I'm just fighting with this needle and thread. It's determined to show me up. Come on. Let's try the other side of the eye sometimes. Right, I'm giving up with that one. Need to find a bigger needle. Bigger needle. So say I need to use a strong thread because I've got to pull through so many layers of fabric. But, I can't get the blinking thread through the eye of the needle, it's so fine. Oh. Mental note to self, thread all needles before streaming. Hang in there, I really do know how to sew, honest. If in doubt, just keep snipping bits off the end because I keep wearing down the threads, the fibres. Little bits of debris. Oh, streaming fail. Right, now we're going for a ginormous needle this time. I'm really... She says, I can't even get it out of the packet. It must be lunchtime. That's it. I must be low on blood sugars. Come on. Not like this on YouTube, is it? They do it all properly. Right, we're in. Goodness me. Let's try. Just keep taking some little stitches. Probably now it's a ginormous needle. But I'm just going to take some small stitches now, secure this Suffolk puff to the petals. And I'm kind of done really, because I say I need to attach them to the quilt, but I'm still hand quilting that quilt at the moment. So it's not ready to have the daffodils stuck on because I've got to quilt underneath where the daffodils will be. So I think I'm going to try and do that this afternoon. And hopefully on Friday I'll have a finished spring mini quilt for you. See what it looks like. Also, I'm going to get it written up. See if I can launch the pattern on Friday as well. So, it's just kind of nerve-wracking asking for money for something and you think, well, I can take one look at it and know how to make it. Why would someone pay for the pattern? But I know people will. I know there'll be people out there that aren't 100% sure or confident. So, I was thinking about doing like streaming sew-along or something so we can all start with the same pattern and make at the same time. And then if people hit trouble or problems, I can be there just to help talk them through it. So what about you, Monkey? Do you sew at all, or what other... So you're talking about all your different crafts on Discord this morning, but what crafts are your favourites? Unthreaded again. I'm unravelling! There we go. The threads of my sanity have gone. That feels better. Oh, I think Monkey's gone. Not to worry. Take that pink hair dye out. See, purple's my favourite colour, or cerise. I do like a bit of purple and cerise. Perhaps I could do 2 different colours down the front there. I love the rainbow hair that I've seen. I don't know how they do that. I'm guessing you'd have to bleach dark hair first before you can do that kind of rainbow effect. But, oh, that's bad juju with the nerve damage, monkey. Is that something that will get better, or is that it now? Ouch. Yeah, I'm such a wuss when it comes to things like that. Ooh, makes my knees go funny. Can't bear the thought of going into hospital. I think I'm a control freak. The thought of a general anaesthetic. Nope. So how are you finding crochet now after your operations? Is it easier? I'm definitely unravelling now. Keep pulling my needle off the thread. There we go, I think that's us all the way around, yay! So I'm just turning it over to the back. The back's not important, we're not going to see that, so I'm just going to stitch through there, secure that thread, and I can trim it off. There we go, so now we've got... Oh. Oh, you watched them do it? Oh, yeah. I had to watch my son have a filling the other day, and I was just nearly passed out on the floor. I don't know, it must have been fascinating. Oh. Oh. I'm so terrible. My son cut his head open. They had to glue it at the hospital, and I was trying to be all comforting, and at the same time thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going. Somebody get me." But, seriously though, was it fascinating to see them actually inside your arm, with your hand? Oh dear. I think I was more shocked it was glue, like actually just glue. I could do that at home. Don't need to sit here all day. Oh, you can feel the tugs, but no. Ooh. Yeah, it's weird. I was kind of thinking back to when I had the kids, and I didn't have an epidural or anything, but I think we blocked that out. We must do. So I don't really remember that. But, oh, I'm trashing my office now. So how are you finding crocheting stuff now? Is it easier now? Clear the fluff off there. So I'm cleaning my work area. You see, it's funny, I can't knit. I know how to knit. I just do not find it fun. So my sister just bought me a Star Wars crochet amigurumi thing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having a go at that. So I'm just trying to move into camera. This is the quilt top that I've started to make, and I've started to quilt now as well. I don't know if we can see, we've kind of got this weird stem outline thing. and this is what I've made the daffodils for, is to just sort of plonk them on. I think I've made too many, but I just wanted to make as many as I could. I'm just going to try and move that camera a bit so we can see more of that. Can we see that? Ish. Still playing with cameras. And I might just dot a few of the smaller ones kind of around. Ish. I'm such an ish. I never really have a plan, I just start going. We'll see what happens. It's only fabric and it doesn't have feelings. So yeah, I think I'm just going to put a few of the smaller ones on. And yeah, a bit of springtime. So I don't know how to make this into a cushion or whether to hang it on the wall. I've got one that hangs on the wall, but I'm thinking cushion, and then I'm thinking 8-year-old and 10-year-old and fiddly bits. So it might not make it, I don't know. Or maybe it's one of those cushions that sits on the side and no one is allowed to use. I don't know. So the plan is really now, I've got to finish this hand quilting, which doesn't work out great on streaming. Hang it up till the kids leave home. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think you might be right. But, yeah, so I need to finish hand quilting. I'm not really in the mood to do that right now because I've stabbed my finger so many times this morning. It's really sore. So yeah, Friday, yeah, it's Friday. I'm going to come back and hopefully finish this off, or at least have it finished. We'll see. I'm not sure. But I think for now, I'm going to go and make myself some lunch. Because if I don't, I'm going to forget, and then you have to go and get the kids, and I'm ravenous. Alrighty, so there we go. 6 little fabric daffodillies. See if I can twiddle with that a bit. Yeah. So yeah, a bit of fun. No real skill involved. I bet you could do that. What's the rainbow circle in the background? Oh, up there. That's another little quilt. That's a Dresden plate quilt. That's off a quilt. See if I can. Oh, tell you what, I'm gonna mess with my cameras now because I think it's just you watching. I made myself a jig. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna mess with this one. Look, I made myself a jig so you can film close up. That one's attached to my monitor. But let's see if I can just do it. You get a tour of the office now. Not really. It's much of an office. I don't know if you can see on this back wall. There is a massive quilt hanging up there, and that's got the rainbow circle in again. So it's going to be a block of the month where I don't know whether to do it as like on stream. I might do it on stream and do a different one each month. It's not as amazing as you think, you know. It really is. Everything in patchwork pretty much is just straight lines, and most of us can manage straight lines, and if we can't, you can get feet for your sewing machine that will do the straight line for you. So yeah, that's a Dresden plate. So I might demonstrate that actually. Yeah, we'll demonstrate that. I'll be proud of it when it's finished. My biggest problem is I start stuff and I never finish it. I never finish it. So that's started. That's what we would call a top or a flimsy, but it's not been quilted. Oh, monkey, I'm trying to figure out Discord, really. I go in there and it's tiny on my phone and I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I couldn't even figure out if I'd sent Tony my details, if I just broadcast where I live to everybody. But I am working on it, honest. I'm stitching most of the time instead of learning. But, yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go now, monkey. I've no idea how to raid somebody. I don't even know if I can raid somebody. Shall we have a look? You can see my gormless computer face. Dig my way in, dig my way in. So I blame my husband for all of this because it's all his idea. Am I on PC? Yes, I'm on PC. And I do have Discord running in the background. Type /raid and then the name. Right, so I better find somebody then, hadn't I? Oh, let's find somebody. So I need to open Twitch. That would be good, wouldn't it? Following. Who are we following? Let's see who's on. See, this always happens whenever I go live. Anybody I'm following is not live because everybody's in the States. But let's search in creative. Who's doing stuff in creative right now? Oh. Mandala madness. Have a look at that. I'm making a circle mandala quilt at the minute. That's another thing. I just keep starting stuff and I never finish. Let's have a look. Yeah, do you know what? I think I quite fancy... I like to see people drawing and stuff, but I definitely much prefer... Where's it gone? There she is. Let's click on that. Oh, let's just mute it. Oh, adverts, adverts, come on. So, /raid, and then the name. Let's see if we can do this. Oh my goodness. Do you have to be following them to be able to raid? What happened there? Invalid username. Yeah, because I didn't type it properly. Shall we try again? See, now my frame rate's dropping as well, because where we are. Oh, it's like Mama Bears is on there. See what happens there. Oh, look, look, we're going. The pressure, the pressure. Hey, I got raided and I wasn't here. I'd put the kettle on. That was good. I'll see you on the other side. I think we're off. Bye. You're welcome, monkey. Oh dear. Still adverts.